In the weeks that followed, Earth began to find its footing. The attack on the lunar base had been a wake-up call, forcing humanity to face its vulnerabilities and strengths. President Rachel Monroe stood before a crowd in Washington, D.C., her voice steady as she addressed the nation. "We have faced challenges, but we are still standing," she declared. "This is our moment to prove what we are capable of, to show the galaxy that Earth will not be pushed around." Her words resonated with people across the planet. Though fear lingered, there was also hope. Earth's victory against the rogue faction had proven something important. Humanity could defend itself. General Matthew Riley worked tirelessly to strengthen Earth's defenses, incorporating new technology from Project Horizon into the military. Ethan Brooks and Samantha Reed became heroes, their innovations giving Earth a fighting chance in an uncertain galaxy. Meanwhile, the truth about the Veilith came to light. Laura Miller uncovered evidence that confirmed Claire Bennett's suspicions. The Veilith were not as neutral as they claimed. Their ancient ties to the Galactic Council revealed a history of manipulation and control. When confronted, Kelvor did not deny it. Instead, he offered a cryptic warning. "The Council's grip on the galaxy weakens," he said. "Choose your allies carefully, for the future belongs to those who seize it." Earth's leaders debated long and hard about how to proceed. Jonathan Hayes argued for independence. "We don't need to align with anyone," he said. "We've already shown we can stand on our own." But others, like General Riley, urged caution. "The galaxy is full of dangers," he reminded them. "If we isolate ourselves, we risk losing everything." In the end, Earth chose a middle path. President Monroe announced a new policy. Earth would remain independent but open to partnerships with planets and species disillusioned by the Council's corruption. Delegations traveled to distant worlds, forging alliances based on mutual respect rather than domination. Slowly but surely, Earth began to carve out its place in the galaxy. Back in Houston, Ethan and Samantha celebrated a breakthrough. Their faster-than-light propulsion system was finally ready for testing. "This is it," Ethan said, grinning as he watched the first test ship launch into space. "We're going farther than anyone thought possible." Samantha smiled, though her eyes reflected worry. "Let's just hope we're ready for what's out there." Claire Bennett continued studying the alien artifacts from Proxima Centauri. She believed the glowing symbols held secrets that could unlock even greater discoveries. "There's so much we don't understand," she told Ryan Cole one evening as they worked late in the lab. "But every answer brings us closer to understanding our place in the universe." As Earth moved forward, life began to change. Farmers like Adam Lawson found new opportunities as trade routes expanded. Scientists shared knowledge with alien species eager to cooperate. Even protesters who had once doubted Earth's decision to leave the Council began to see the benefits of independence. But the galaxy was far from peaceful. Rumors spread of unrest within the Galactic Council, with factions vying for power. The Veilith remained a mystery, their true intentions unclear. And deep in space, the strange signals continued, hinting at forces beyond human comprehension. Despite the unknowns, Earth stepped boldly into the stars. Humanity had taken its first steps toward independence, and though challenges lay ahead, there was no turning back. The galaxy had changed forever, and Earth was ready to meet whatever came next. Whatever the future held, one thing was certain: humanity would face it together, united by hope and determination. The fragile peace on Earth shattered when a rogue faction of the Galactic Council launched a surprise attack on the lunar base. The strike came without warning, catching everyone off guard. Explosions lit up the dark surface of the moon as enemy ships fired on the facility. Inside, scientists and engineers scrambled to evacuate, their faces pale with fear. Back on Earth, alarms blared in military command centers as General Matthew Riley sprang into action. "This is an act of war," Matthew growled, his voice sharp as he addressed his team. "We need to respond, now." For years, Earth had relied on the Council for protection, but those days were over. Humanity would have to fight for itself. Using experimental weapons developed under Project Horizon, Earth's forces mobilized quickly. Ethan Brooks and Samantha Reed worked around the clock to adapt their technology for combat. Their new propulsion systems allowed ships to move faster than ever before, giving Earth a fighting chance against the attackers. Pilots trained hastily, their nerves stretched thin as they prepared for battle. The fight was fierce. Enemy ships swarmed the lunar base, their weapons tearing through walls and equipment. But Earth's defenders held their ground, using tactics designed by Matthew and his team. In the heat of the conflict, one of Earth's ships managed to disable a key enemy vessel, forcing the attackers to retreat. Though the victory was small, it proved something important. Humanity could stand up to its enemies. As the dust settled, reports poured in from across the galaxy. Not all members of the Galactic Council supported the attack. Some planets condemned the aggression, calling it reckless and unjustified. Others stayed silent, unwilling to take sides. The Council itself seemed fractured, its unity crumbling under the weight of internal disputes. Amid the chaos, Claire Bennett returned from Proxima Centauri with startling news. The alien artifacts she had studied hinted at an ancient alliance between the Vailith and the Council. Hidden inscriptions suggested the two groups had once worked together to control parts of the galaxy. "This changes everything," Claire told President Rachel Monroe during a private briefing. "If the Vailith are tied to the Council, we can't trust them." Rachel listened carefully, her expression thoughtful. "So the Vailith might not be as neutral as they claim." "Exactly," Claire replied. "Their offer could be a trap, or worse, a way to manipulate us." Laura Miller agreed, sharing her own findings. She had been analyzing data from the battle and noticed patterns that matched old Council strategies. "It's possible the rogue faction isn't acting alone," she said. "Some members of the Council might be using this attack to test us, or draw us back into their fold." The revelation forced Earth's leaders to reconsider their alliances. Trust was in short supply, and every decision carried risks. Jonathan Hayes argued for caution. "We can't rush into anything," he said. "Not with the Council or the Vailith. We need proof before we act." But time was running out. The Vailith grew impatient, demanding a response to their proposal. Kelvor sent a message to Earth, his tone polite but firm. "Your hesitation speaks louder than words," he said. "Choose wisely. The galaxy does not wait forever." While the leaders debated, ordinary people felt the strain. Protesters clashed in the streets, arguing over whether Earth should seek peace or prepare for more conflict. Farmers like Adam Lawson struggled to keep their businesses afloat as resources grew scarce. "I just want to know what's going to happen next," Adam muttered, staring at the sky. "Will we survive this?" In Houston, Ethan and Samantha pushed forward with Project Horizon, knowing their work could tip the scales in humanity's favor. "If we can perfect this technology," Ethan said, "we won't have to rely on anyone else. We'll be free." Samantha nodded, though worry lingered in her eyes. "Freedom comes at a cost," she reminded him. "And I'm not sure we're ready to pay it." As tensions mounted, Earth stood at a crossroads. The choices ahead would shape its future, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy. With enemies closing in and allies uncertain, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. The road was dangerous, but one thing was clear. Earth would never go back to the way things were. The tension on Earth reached a breaking point when a fleet of ships appeared near the edge of the solar system. The vessels were unlike anything recorded in the Galactic Council's archives. Sleek and metallic, they shimmered faintly as if alive, their shapes shifting slightly as they moved. News of their arrival spread quickly, sparking panic and curiosity across the planet. President Rachel Monroe called an emergency meeting with her advisors, including Jonathan Hayes and Laura Miller. "Who are they?" she asked, staring at the images displayed on a large screen in the war room. "They call themselves the Vailith," Laura replied, her voice calm but cautious. She had spent hours analyzing data sent from telescopes and satellites. "Their leader, Kelvor, has requested an audience with Earth's leaders." Rachel frowned. "What do they want?" "That's the question," Jonathan said, leaning forward. They claim to be neutral, a nomadic species traveling through the galaxy. But we can't take their word for it, not after everything we've been through. Despite the risks, Rachel decided to meet with the Valeth. She couldn't afford to ignore them, not when Earth was still vulnerable. A delegation was assembled, including Jonathan, Laura, and General Matthew Riley, who insisted on accompanying them for security. Together, they boarded a shuttle and headed to the designated meeting point, a neutral zone established by the Valeth near Jupiter. When they arrived, the Valeth greeted them aboard their massive flagship. Calvor stood at the center of the room, his tall, slender frame wrapped in flowing robes that seemed to ripple like water. His eyes glowed faintly, and his voice carried a strange resonance as he spoke. "We mean no harm," he began. "Our people have watched yours for some time. Now that you stand alone, we wish to offer our help." "Help?" Rachel asked, raising an eyebrow. "What kind of help?" Calvor gestured to one of his aides, who presented a holographic display showing advanced technology, energy sources, medical advancements, and tools for space exploration. "In exchange for safe passage through your territory, we offer knowledge and trade," he explained. "Together, we could achieve great things." Laura studied the hologram carefully, her mind racing. The technology was impressive, far beyond anything Earth had developed. But something about Calvor's words didn't sit right with her. His tone was smooth, almost too perfect, as if rehearsed. She glanced at Jonathan, who shared her unease. "What's the catch?" Matthew asked bluntly, his hand resting on the weapon at his side. "No one gives something for nothing." Calvor smiled faintly, though it didn't reach his glowing eyes. "There is no catch," he said, "only opportunity. But know this. The galaxy is changing. Your decision to leave the Council has drawn attention, from allies and enemies alike. Aligning with us would ensure your survival." Rachel hesitated, weighing the risks. The Valeth's offer was tempting, especially with Earth struggling to rebuild its resources. But trusting them felt like stepping into unknown waters. "We'll need time to consider your proposal," she said finally. "Of course," Calvor replied, bowing slightly. "But do not take too long. Time is a luxury few can afford." Back on Earth, the delegation debated what to do. Laura argued against rushing into an agreement. "We don't know enough about them," she said. "Their technology might look amazing, but there's no guarantee it's safe, or that they're telling the truth." Jonathan nodded. "She's right. We need more information before we make a decision." Matthew crossed his arms, his expression grim. "And what if they're lying? What if this is all a trick?" While the leaders argued, Ethan Brooks and Samantha Reed worked tirelessly in Houston. They believed the Valeth's arrival might be connected to the signals from deep space. "If we can track their movements," Ethan said, typing furiously on his computer, "we might figure out where they came from and why they're really here." Samantha frowned, watching the data stream across the screen. "Or we might find ourselves in even deeper trouble." Far away, Claire Bennett continued her work on Proxima Centauri. The alien symbols in the colony ruins seemed to pulse brighter whenever news of the Valeth reached her team. "It's like they're reacting to something," she muttered, touching the glowing patterns. Ryan Cole stood beside her, his camera ready to document every detail. As Earth wrestled with its next move, the galaxy held its breath. The Valeth's arrival had changed everything, forcing humanity to face hard choices, trust or caution, independence or alliance. Whatever path Earth chose, it would shape its future, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy itself. Back on Earth, the excitement over the discovery on Proxima Centauri was overshadowed by growing unrest. Senator Gregory Lane, a vocal critic of President Rachel Monroe, stood in front of reporters outside the Capitol building. His face was stern as he pointed a finger at the government. "Leaving the Galactic Council was reckless," he declared. "Now we're dealing with alien artifacts and mysterious signals. What's next? War?" His words stirred up fear among the public. Many people agreed with him, believing that Earth's independence had made the planet weaker, not stronger. Protesters gathered outside the White House, holding signs that read "Bring back the Council" and "Protect our planet." The pressure on Rachel and her team was mounting. Amid the chaos, intelligence operative Nathan Cole quietly worked behind the scenes. He had been assigned to investigate rumors of sabotage within Project Horizon, the secret initiative to develop faster-than-light travel. Nathan was known for his sharp instincts and ability to stay invisible. He spent hours sifting through files, tracing connections, and following leads. One name kept appearing: an aide named Kevin Doyle, who worked closely with Senator Lane. Nathan decided to confront Kevin. He waited until late at night, when the halls of Congress were nearly empty, and cornered the young man in a quiet office. "I know what you've been doing," Nathan said, his voice low but firm. "You've been leaking classified information." Kevin froze, his face turning pale. "I don't know what you're talking about," he stammered. "Don't lie to me," Nathan snapped. "Who are you working for? Who's pulling your strings?" For a moment, Kevin stayed silent. Then, with a defeated sigh, he confessed. "It's not just me," he admitted. "There's a group, people who think Earth's departure from the Council is an opportunity. They want to take control, to reshape the galaxy in their image. They're willing to work with outsiders to make it happen." Nathan's stomach tightened. "Outsiders? You mean aliens?" Kevin nodded. "They promised power, resources, things Earth desperately needs, but I didn't know it would go this far. I swear." Nathan didn't have time to ask more questions. He left the office quickly, his mind racing. If Kevin was telling the truth, Earth wasn't just facing external threats, it was being betrayed from within. He needed to warn President Monroe immediately. Meanwhile, General Matthew Riley prepared Earth's defenses for potential conflict. The strange signals from deep space were growing louder, and reports suggested something, or someone, was heading toward the solar system. Matthew met with Jonathan Hayes and Laura Miller to discuss the situation. "We can't wait around," Matthew said. "If this is an attack, we need to be ready." Laura frowned, her eyes fixed on a map of the galaxy. "What if it's not an attack?" she asked. "What if it's something else entirely? We don't even know who or what we're dealing with." Jonathan nodded. "She's right. We need more information before we act." But time was running out. In Houston, Ethan Brooks and Samantha Reed worked tirelessly on Project Horizon, trying to perfect their new propulsion technology. The equipment hummed loudly as they ran tests, their faces lit by the glow of computer screens. "If we can get this working," Ethan said, "we might be able to send a ship to investigate the signals." Samantha shook her head. "Or straight into danger," she replied. "We don't know what's waiting for us out there." Ethan smiled faintly. "That's never stopped us before." As days passed, tensions continued to rise. Claire Bennett sent updates from Proxima Centauri, revealing more about the alien artifacts. Scientists studied the symbols, trying to decode their meaning. Some believed they held the key to understanding the signals, while others feared they could trigger disaster. On Earth, Nathan shared his findings with President Monroe. She listened carefully, her expression grim. "We're fighting battles on all sides," she said. "Internal betrayal, external threats. It's too much." "It's not over yet," Nathan replied. "But we need to act fast." Rachel nodded, knowing he was right. Humanity had taken its first steps toward independence, but the road ahead was filled with challenges. Betrayal, mystery, and danger loomed large, and no one knew where the journey would lead. The galaxy was watching, and Earth's future hung in the balance. In the middle of the chaos on Earth, a forgotten piece of history resurfaced. Decades ago, humanity had tried to establish a colony on Proxima Centauri, a planet orbiting the closest star to Earth's solar system. The mission had been ambitious, filled with hope and dreams of expanding beyond their home world. But something had gone wrong. Communication with the settlers was lost, and attempts to find out what happened ended in failure. Over time, the colony faded into memory, dismissed as a costly mistake. Now, Claire Bennett, an archaeologist known for her work uncovering ancient ruins, received a call from Earth's government. They wanted her to lead a team to investigate the long-abandoned colony. Why now? Claire asked, sitting in her small office surrounded by books and maps. There are rumors, the voice on the other end of the line explained. Some say the colony might hold answers about our past, or even clues about the strange signals coming from deep space. Claire hesitated. She had spent years studying Earth's history, not space exploration. But the idea of solving a mystery that had puzzled humanity for decades intrigued her. "I'll do it," she said finally. The journey to Proxima Centauri took weeks. Claire traveled with a small team, including 2 engineers and a biologist named Ryan Cole. When they arrived, the planet was nothing like they had imagined. The air was thin, the ground covered in gray dust, and the sky glowed faintly red. In the distance, they could see the remains of the colony, a cluster of domed buildings half buried in the dirt. As they explored the ruins, Claire felt a mix of excitement and unease. Inside one of the domes, they found remnants of daily life, tools, furniture, and personal belongings left behind. But there were also signs of panic. Doors had been locked from the inside, and journals scattered across the floor spoke of fear and confusion. One entry stood out. "They're here. We don't know what they want." "What does that mean?" Ryan asked, holding up the journal. His face was pale, and his voice trembled slightly. "I don't know," Claire admitted, "but we need to keep looking." Deeper into the colony, they discovered something that made their blood run cold. Embedded in the walls of one building were strange, glowing symbols, clearly not of human origin. The symbols pulsed faintly, as if alive. Claire ran her fingers over them, feeling a strange warmth. "This isn't just alien technology," she whispered. "It's advanced, far beyond anything we've seen before." Ryan snapped photos while the engineers recorded data. "Do you think the colonists found this?" he asked. "Is this why they disappeared?" "It's possible," Claire replied. "But if they did, where did they go? And who, or what, did they meet?" As they worked, Claire couldn't shake the feeling they were being watched. The air seemed heavier, and every sound made her jump. At night, strange noises echoed through the ruins, low hums and faint whispers that no one could explain. Back on Earth, news of the discovery spread quickly. Scientists debated the significance of the alien artifacts, while politicians argued over how to handle the situation. Some saw the technology as a chance to strengthen Earth's position in the galaxy, while others warned it could attract danger. Claire sent her findings back to Earth, but she stayed on Proxima Centauri, determined to learn more. She knew the symbols were a message, though she didn't yet understand what it meant. As she stared at the glowing patterns, she felt both awe and fear. Humanity had taken its first step toward independence, but the galaxy was vast and full of secrets. Whatever the colonists had encountered, it was clear they weren't alone. And neither was Earth. Deep in the quiet of space, far beyond Earth's solar system, something strange began to happen. Olivia Grant, an astronomer working at a remote observatory in Chile, was the first to notice it. She spent her nights staring at screens filled with data from telescopes pointed at the stars. Most of what she saw was ordinary: distant suns, swirling galaxies, and the occasional comet. But one night, something unusual caught her eye. On her monitor, a series of faint signals appeared, coming from a region near the edge of the Milky Way. At first, Olivia thought it might be interference or a glitch in the equipment. She double-checked everything, running tests to rule out errors. But the signals kept coming, steady and rhythmic, like a heartbeat in the void. "This isn't natural," she murmured to herself, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she analyzed the data. Olivia sent her findings to colleagues around the world, hoping someone could explain what she was seeing. Days passed, and the signals grew stronger, almost as if they were moving closer. Then, without warning, 3 drones sent to investigate vanished. The drones had been equipped with advanced sensors and cameras, designed to explore even the most hostile environments. But all contact was lost within minutes of reaching the source of the signals. News of the missing drones reached General Matthew Riley, the head of Earth's Defense Forces. He sat in his office in Washington, D.C., studying a map of the galaxy projected onto the wall. His brow furrowed as he listened to a report from one of his officers. "We don't know what's out there, sir," the officer said. "But whatever it is, it's not friendly." Matthew nodded, his mind racing. Earth's departure from the Galactic Council had left the planet vulnerable. Without the Council's protection, they had to rely on their own defenses, and those defenses weren't ready for an unknown threat. He called an emergency meeting with top military officials, including Jonathan Hayes, who had returned from the Council chamber weeks earlier. In the meeting room, tension hung thick in the air. Matthew stood at the front, addressing the group. "We've detected strange activity in deep space," he explained. "Signals, drones disappearing. It's clear we're dealing with something we don't understand. If this is a threat, we need to be prepared." Jonathan frowned, leaning forward in his chair. "Do you think it's connected to our decision to leave the Council?" he asked. "Could someone be testing us?" "It's possible," Matthew admitted, "or it could be something else entirely. Either way, we can't ignore it." As the meeting continued, Olivia Grant worked tirelessly at the observatory. She couldn't shake the feeling that the signals meant something important. Late one night, as she studied the data, she noticed something new. Hidden within the patterns of the signals was a sequence of numbers, coordinates pointing to a specific location in space. Her heart raced as she realized what it might mean. "This isn't random," she whispered. "It's a message." Olivia shared her discovery with a team of scientists who debated its significance. Some believed it could lead to a breakthrough, a chance to make contact with an alien species. Others warned it might be a trap. While they argued, tensions on Earth continued to rise. Protests against the Council's absence grew louder, and rumors of an alien threat spread like wildfire. Back in Houston, Ethan Brooks and Samantha Reed heard about the signals during a break from their work on Project Horizon. "What do you think it means?" Samantha asked, sipping coffee as they discussed it. "I don't know," Ethan replied, his voice thoughtful. "But if there's something out there, we should find out what it is." Samantha nodded, but worry lingered in her eyes. "Just be careful," she said. "We don't know what we're dealing with." As days turned into weeks, the signals remained a mystery. Earth's leaders debated how to respond, while scientists like Olivia worked to decode the message. The galaxy felt vast and unpredictable, and humanity's place in it had never seemed more uncertain. Whatever was waiting in the darkness, it was clear that Earth's journey into independence would not be easy. The signals were only the beginning. The news of Earth's departure from the Galactic Council spread quickly, reaching every corner of the planet. In cities and small towns, people gathered to share their thoughts. Some celebrated with fireworks and parades, waving flags and chanting slogans about freedom. Others stood in silence, holding signs that read, "What have we done?" or "We need the Council." The world was divided, but one thing was clear: life on Earth would never be the same. In Washington, D.C., President Rachel Monroe sat in the Oval Office, staring at a stack of reports on her desk. Her chief strategist, Daniel Carter, paced back and forth, his face tense. "This is just the beginning," he said, stopping to look at her. "Leaving the Council was a bold move, but now we have to prove we can survive without them." Rachel nodded, her expression calm but determined. "We will," she said firmly. "This is our chance to stand on our own, to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of." She glanced at the clock on the wall. It was almost time for her speech to the nation. Outside, crowds had already begun to gather, waiting to hear what she would say. Meanwhile, in Houston, Texas, Ethan Brooks worked late into the night. He was an engineer, and his focus was Project Horizon, a secret initiative to develop faster-than-light travel. For years, the Galactic Council had banned such experiments, claiming they were too dangerous. But now, with Earth freed from their rules, Ethan could finally push the limits of human technology. His lab was filled with machines, wires, and screens displaying complex equations. Beside him, Samantha Reed, his colleague and closest friend, typed furiously on a computer. "Do you think it will work?" Samantha asked, glancing at Ethan. Her voice was soft, but there was excitement in her eyes. "It has to," Ethan replied, rubbing his tired face. "If we can make this breakthrough, we'll open up new possibilities for exploration. Maybe even find resources to replace what we've lost." Samantha smiled faintly. "You're dreaming big again." "Someone has to," Ethan said with a grin. "If we don't take risks, we'll never move forward." As they worked, news outlets broadcast President Monroe's speech across the globe. Standing behind a podium, Rachel spoke with confidence. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity," she declared. "We are no longer bound by the rules of others. We are free to chart our own path, to explore the stars and build a future that reflects our values." The crowd erupted in cheers, though not everyone watching felt the same way. Thousands of miles away, in a small town in Ohio, farmer Adam Lawson watched the speech on an old television. He sighed, leaning back in his chair. "I hope she knows what she's doing," he muttered to himself. Adam wasn't sure how leaving the council would affect his farm, but he knew times were already tough. Prices for food and supplies kept rising, and he worried about what might come next. Back in Houston, Ethan and Samantha barely noticed the speech. They were too focused on their work. Suddenly, one of the machines beeped loudly, catching their attention. Ethan rushed over, his heart racing. On the screen, a series of numbers flashed, a breakthrough in their calculations. "This is it," he whispered, his voice trembling with excitement. "We're closer than ever." But as Ethan celebrated, Samantha frowned. She looked at the data again, noticing something strange. "Wait," she said, pointing to the screen. "There's something off here. These readings, they shouldn't be possible." Ethan froze, his smile fading. He studied the numbers carefully, his mind racing. Could it be a mistake, or had they stumbled onto something far bigger than they imagined? While Ethan and Samantha puzzled over their discovery, tensions continued to rise around the world. Protests grew louder, and debates raged on social media. Some feared that Earth's independence would lead to isolation, while others dreamed of a brighter future. Amid the chaos, one thing was certain: humanity was stepping into uncharted territory, and no one knew where the journey would lead. The large round room of the Galactic Council was filled with voices. Representatives from planets across the galaxy sat in their seats, arguing and debating. The air felt heavy with tension. Jonathan Hayes stood at the center of it all, his hands resting on the smooth surface of the podium. His heart was pounding, but he kept his face calm. Beside him, Laura Miller leaned close, her voice soft but urgent as she whispered into his earpiece. She was explaining the latest demand made by the Council, a new tax on Earth's already limited energy resources. For years, Earth had been a junior member of the Galactic Council, the powerful group that governed relations between planets. But being part of the Council had not been easy. Earth gave more than it received. Its people worked hard to provide materials, technology, and energy to support other worlds, while getting little help in return. Many on Earth were tired of feeling like second-class citizens. They wanted change, and Jonathan knew it was time to act. The council chamber was a mix of strange creatures and advanced technology. Alien representatives with glowing skin or multiple eyes watched as Jonathan took a deep breath. He looked around the room, meeting the gazes of those who had often dismissed Earth's concerns. Then he spoke, his voice clear and steady. "Earth will no longer remain part of the Galactic Council," he announced. The words hung in the air for a moment before chaos erupted. Gasps and murmurs spread through the room. Some representatives shouted questions, while others stared in disbelief. A tall, blue-skinned alien from the planet Zenera stood up, his voice booming. "You cannot simply leave. The Council holds this galaxy together." Another representative, a small, insect-like being, clicked its mandibles angrily. "This is reckless. You are abandoning your responsibilities." Jonathan raised a hand to quiet the noise, though it was hard to be heard over the commotion. "We have given everything we can to this alliance," he said firmly. "But our planet is suffering. Our people are struggling. We cannot continue to sacrifice ourselves for others who do not value us." Laura nodded slightly beside him, her expression serious. She believed in what Jonathan was saying, even though she knew the risks. The council leader, an elderly alien named Farnock, finally stepped forward. His deep voice carried authority as he addressed the room. "Earth's decision will have consequences," he warned. "You are turning your back on centuries of cooperation. Are you prepared for what comes next?" Jonathan hesitated for just a moment. He thought about the billions of people back home, waiting to hear what would happen. He thought about the protests and the debates, the hope and the fear. Then he straightened his shoulders and replied, "Yes. Whatever comes next, we will face it together." When the session ended, Jonathan walked out of the chamber with Laura by his side. Neither of them spoke until they reached a quiet hallway. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Laura asked, her voice tinged with worry. "I don't know," Jonathan admitted, "but it had to be done. Earth deserves a chance to stand on its own." As they walked away, neither of them noticed the shadowy figure watching from a corner of the hallway. The figure tapped a device on its wrist, sending a message to someone far away. News of Earth's departure would travel fast, and not everyone in the galaxy would take it lightly. Back on Earth, the announcement sparked immediate reactions. Crowds gathered in cities and towns, holding signs and shouting slogans. Some cheered, celebrating their planet's newfound independence. Others protested, fearful of what might come next. In Washington, D.C., President Rachel Monroe prepared to address the nation. She knew the road ahead would be difficult, but she also knew one thing for certain: Earth's decision had changed everything, for better or worse.